Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Johanna Chan. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Carrie Lam cites family reasons as she decides against a second term. Hong Kong's university entrance exams will take place as scheduled, with special arrangements for COVID-infected students. And medics from the military and other regions of the mainland are deployed in Shanghai to fight a COVID outbreak. Chief Executive Carrie Lam has decided to step down after completing her term of office in June. She cited family reasons for her decision and pledged to continue fighting COVID until she leaves. Months of speculation ended this morning, with Carrie Lam announcing that she will not seek a second term as chief executive. Lam revealed that she had informed Beijing of her intention in March last year, adding that her family is her priority and it's time to go home.
This is not a question of evaluating my performance or the performance of the Hong Kong SAR government in this term. This is a question of my personal wish and aspiration. And my personal wish and aspiration is entirely based on my family consideration. This is what I have told the Central People's Government, and they have expressed understanding.
Lam will step down as chief executive on June 30th, ending 42 years of government service. She said during her remaining time in office, she will focus on preparing for the election of her successor. She will also plan activities to mark the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's handover, ensure a smooth transition to the next administration, and fight COVID. Lam declined to comment on possible candidates, only noting that so far, none of her ministers have tendered their resignations to contest the election. The head of the city's biggest pro-establishment party said Lam's tenure as chief executive was marked by many problems.
I respect her decision. I think that is a serious decision after careful consideration. Under his leadership, the whole international environment is in a very difficult situation, especially the struggle between power. Hong Kong, unfortunately, has been dragging on into all this situation. And my observation is that she worked very hard, really very hard. Most of the things he handled by herself.
But Lee said Lam could have done more to prepare for the fifth COVID wave, such as planning for facilities to alleviate the situation. Carrie Lam's decision not to seek a second term has raised questions whether some of her ambitious proposals will come to fruition. Lam herself hopes that her successor will implement her plans, which she says have broad support. Chloe Feng reports.
Carrie Lam's policy address 6 months ago contained ambitious reforms, including a proposal to increase the number of government bureaus from 13 to 15. There will be a new culture, sports and tourism bureau, while the transport and housing bureau will be split up, with one bureau devoted to infrastructure and the other focused on solving housing problems. But COVID has hampered the government reshuffle. Her other main proposal was the northern metropolis to transform the area along the border into an IT and housing hub. In 2018, Lam proposed the Lanka Tomorrow vision to reclaim 1,700 hectares of land to house over 1 million people. The project drew controversy over the environmental impact and the estimated $624 billion price tag. When asked about the future of her infrastructure proposals,
特區政府嗰個嘅情況咧係有好大嘅延續性嘅政策。
Lam today said that she hoped the next administration will carry them out, as there is enough support and a policy of continuity in the government. But she hopes to finalize details on increasing the number of bureaus before she leaves office. Lam added that her government has paved the way for a stable political environment for her successor, particularly after the implementation of the national security law in 2020 and the patriots-only electoral overhaul. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Hong Kong's daily COVID caseload has dropped to a 6-week low. Over half of the 3,138 infections recorded today were detected through nucleic acid tests. There were 90 more deaths, taking the tally since the fifth wave began to 8,049. One was a 51-year-old man who was admitted with end-stage renal failure last month. He was discharged after treatment, but fainted at home yesterday and died during resuscitation. Another was a 41-year-old man who suffered from an abscess in his buttocks and difficulty in breathing. He had an operation, but his situation deteriorated and he died yesterday. Both cases were referred to the coroner. Hong Kong's university entrance exams will begin later this month as scheduled. Special arrangements will be made for candidates with mild COVID symptoms. They can take the exam in Penny's Bay. Johanna reports.
Education Chief Kevin Yeung said the Diploma of Secondary Education exam will begin on April 22nd as scheduled, but there will be a new option for candidates infected with COVID. They can sit for the university entrance exam in Penny's Bay. There will be 1,000 places at the quarantine facility for students with mild symptoms, as well as for non-infected candidates who are close contacts or under compulsory testing orders. The two groups will be put in different zones to minimize infection risks. Students who want to take the exam in Penny's Bay should inform the authorities before 6:30 a.m. if they test positive, so that designated taxis can be arranged for them. 60% of the candidates will finish the exam in 2 weeks.
Students can download the HKDSC app on their phones to check the dates and time, as well as arrangement updates if there are any special circumstances.
Deputy Education Secretary Hong Chen-Choi-Wah said candidates in Penny's Bay can decide each day whether to take the exam, but cannot revoke the decision once it's made. She urged parents and candidates to evaluate their health situation carefully before deciding. Candidates can be disqualified if they lie about a positive RAT result. But there won't be COVID tests at the entrance of exam halls because of the large number of candidates. Johanna Ho, HKIBC.
Medical personnel from various parts of China and the military have been rushed to Shanghai to help fight the mainland's worst COVID outbreak in more than 2 years. As the financial hub continues to be locked down, vegetables have been sent to the city. But videos have surfaced of the supplies rotting on the streets. Chloe Feng reports.
All 26 million people in Shanghai have been ordered to conduct antigen tests at home as the mainland's financial powerhouse registered a surge in COVID infections. Yesterday, health officials detected 9,400 cases, 90% of which were asymptomatic. Over 92,000 other people are being monitored as close contacts. The city also held another round of nucleic acid testing, the largest of its kind, for all residents, with the authorities determined to wipe out transmission chains completely. More than 10,000 medical workers from various provinces, as well as 2,000 military medics, were sent to Shanghai to fight the virus. With the lockdown in the city now in its 8th day, tons of fresh vegetables have been sent after residents complained of an acute shortage. But videos have appeared on social media showing vegetables left rotting on the streets, apparently because no department was assigned to collect them. Apart from Shanghai, over 4,000 COVID cases were recorded yesterday in other parts of the mainland, as it grapples with its worst outbreak in over 2 years. Most, or about 3,500, were in former hotspot Jilin, which has been locked down for a month. The authorities in the province bordering North Korea again pledged to reach dynamic zero by Friday. New asymptomatic clusters were also found in Hebei, Anhui, and Jiangsu. The mainland began a 3-day holiday yesterday to mark the Qingming festival. Those living in areas hit by COVID have to stay home. But in other parts, fewer people are going to sweep the graves of their ancestors. This has led to grave sweeping services advertised online with fees ranging up to 1,000 yuan, depending on the rituals involved. Chloe Feng, HKIBC.
A new finance minister has been appointed in Sri Lanka, where anti-government protests have continued. Police were on the alert as people defied a state of emergency and vented their frustration over power cuts, high food prices, and corruption. In a bid to appease the angry population, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa replaced his brother as finance minister. Following the resignation of the entire cabinet, the president has appealed for a unity government. But opposition leaders insisted that Rajapaksa and his family withdraw from politics and blamed them for Sri Lanka's worst economic crisis. Japan and New Zealand are among the latest countries to condemn Russia after Ukraine accused Moscow of committing genocide.
The reports of Ukrainian civilians who had been killed, raped, and severely wounded by Russian troops is beyond reprehensible. Russia must answer to the world for what they've done.
The town of Bucha near the Ukrainian capital Kyiv is littered with destroyed Russian tanks. Ukrainian soldiers say they found the bodies of many civilians. Foreign journalists who went to Irpin, another town near the capital, said they came across bodies buried in the forest and fields. Russia has denied killing civilians and described the reports as propaganda. Ukrainians have vowed not to surrender and accuse Russian forces of breaking promises to stop hostilities in some areas.
The most active attacks are still in the east and south of Ukraine. They withdrew only from the places where they couldn't hold their positions. They need to understand that we will not left it as it is. So we will still continue to survive. We will still continue to fight. And I hope one day our country will reborn. The Hong Kong people will support us to share the truth also across the world as much as it can be possible. It will support us to have more motivation to survive more and to fight even more for our homeland.
You can watch the full interview with Olga Podgaina on Talk the Walk on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. The Hong Kong stock market closed at a one-month high today, as fears ease that some mainland firms may be delisted in the United States over an audit dispute. Baidu gained 7.7% after China indicated that it is keen to resolve the row with the U.S. Two other firms named by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission also rose. Yum China jumped 5.3% and Weibo was up 3.4%. The Hang Seng Index ended the day 2.1% higher on the eve of the Qingming holiday. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 462 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent up $11.20, Meituan up $11.50, Alibaba up $4, and Tracker Fund up 44 cents. Ping An up $2.75, BYD Company up $18.40, Kuaishou up $6.40, and Hong Kong Exchange was up $4.80. To the Forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro is trading at 8.62, British pound at 10.27, and Australian dollar at 5.88. Over in the UK market, the FTSE 100 is up 1.6 points. Onto the weather now. Tomorrow will be fine and dry, becoming hot during the day with a top temperature of 28 degrees. Expect more of the same throughout the week. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Monday. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Johanna Chan. Thanks for watching.